In this video, we are going to take a look at API portfolio within APIwiz, different maturity metrics like design, build, security, reliability, and compliance metrics, and overall concept of API portfolio. API portfolio management comes under define phase of API management, which comes before API design. It serves as an input or initial phase of design and helps technical people to design an open API specification having full context of the business use cases. API portfolio module within APIwiz involves technical as well as business owners, along with API program managers and product managers. Together, all of them can define the requirements, document it, which serves as a source of truth for other technical stakeholders. After defining, they can take a look at a bird's eye view of API program maturity, which we will dive into right now. So to give you an overview, you get an overall API program maturity score right here, along with the number of products, portfolios, and services. So let's move on to the maturity metrics. First one is design governance. This is based on the number of linting runs related to your API. Linting runs are nothing but when a style guide is defined and an open API specification is checked against it. In order to improve this maturity, you have to make sure that all your open API specifications are attached or associated with your style guide in this linting module. Next is build governance. It is based on the code coverage. Code coverage is the amount of code that is actually getting executed when the API runs. In order to improve this governance, you have to optimize your code. Next is API security. This is based on the number of threats detected in your API traffic. The threat detection is powered by the policy pipeline that you have defined in your API security module in APIwiz. Reliability is a combination of test cases, success rate, along with monitoring of uptime and performance. In order to improve this, you have to make sure all your test cases are comprehensive and your API passes it, along with having a high uptime and average latency. As we can see, the rest of the dashboard is the detailed view of all these metrics. So let's dive deeper into it. First one that we already discussed is the code coverage. Next is monitoring. It is an average latency and uptime of your APIs. The linting runs is related to design governance, where you get a breakup of info, error, and warning violations under API linting. This is again based on your API style guides, which have rules which when violated increase this number. So make sure your rule sets and style guides are comprehensive for this maturity to kick in. A major chunk of having a secure system is having specification defined for each of your APIs. But sometimes few of the APIs are deprecated but still running in production. Those are called as zombie APIs, while shadow APIs are APIs which don't have any open API specification attached to it. This section gives you a breakup of how much traffic is going through that API and the total traffic of it. Related to reliability maturity metrics, test suite coverage is shown here. Based on the number of average test success rate, this maturity can improve. Next is API non-compliance, which also comes under security and reliability, where you get a view of the components of an API request and response and which are not following the open API specification. For example, a large chunk of the traffic has an extra headers that are not defined in the respective open API specification. We have detailed it out in the API compliance video. Based on this non-compliance, you get out of all the traffic that all your APIs are getting, how much of it is following the open API specification versus the documented specs. Next is a security threat breakup. This is similar to non-compliant traffic breakup, but in this case, if any of your traffic is violating all the policies that you have defined in the API security module, it will flag those traffic here. You can follow the link in the description to check out how you can define your own custom policies in APIwiz API security. Since these APIs don't have any unsecured traffic, this area is blank. If you have any unsecured traffic, then you get an overview of which specific policies it is violating so that you can take corrective actions. Based on your build governance, next comes the API deployment success rate. For each of your portfolios, you can see how much of the deployments under those portfolios were successful. In this case, ActivateSim has lower success rate. Since APIwiz supports all phases of API lifecycle management, we also have an active designs, specification and a catalog. In this case, your specification inventory gives you an overview of all the OpenAPI specification in your system. Here I can see that a lot of them are in draft stage, which are still getting worked on, and 27 of them are in approved state. Next, you also have a data dictionary. Data dictionary is nothing but a catalog of all your schemas that will be used in the request and response of all your APIs. In this case, there are few under draft. A lot of them are in deprecated stage. These might be also a part of all the shadow or zombie APIs. In the next video, we will take a look at the concept and relationship between portfolios, products, and API services, along with a deeper dive in API portfolios.